In 1974, Stephen King and his wife Tabitha spent a night in room 217 at the Stanley Hotel while on vacation during their short residency in Boulder, Colorado. The hotel staff were just getting ready to close for the season, and the Kings discovered they were the only overnight guests. King and his wife were served dinner in an empty dining room accompanied by canned orchestra music. Except for our table, all the chairs were up on all the tables. So the music is echoing down the hall, and I mean, it was like God had put me there to hear and see those things, King commented. That night, King had a dream which would inspire him. I dreamed of my 3-year-old son running through the corridors, looking back over his shoulder, eyes wide, screaming. He was being chased by a fire hose. I woke up with a tremendous jerk, sweating all over, within an inch of falling out of bed. I got up, lit a cigarette, sat in a chair and looked out the window at the Rockies. And by the time the cigarette was done, I had the bones of the book firmly set in my mind. In Kubrick's The Shining, room 217 that the Kings famously stayed in was changed to room 237. There was no room 237 at the Stanley, and that was meant to help with possible bad publicity for the hotel. Of course, in the long run, it has helped the Stanley immensely with tourism, and room 217 is typically booked well over a year in advance. The Algonquin Hotel in New Brunswick, Canada definitely has an Overlook type feel to it. I found a couple things online about the hotel also being an influence for Stephen King. Not too far from King's home in Bangor, Maine, he apparently also stayed there in the 70s. I reached out to the Algonquin regarding the King connection and got this response. We wouldn't be able to confirm, but what has been said is that the movie was filmed at the Stanley Hotel, but the inspiration for the book was the Algonquin Resort. That is the connection we have. We have ghost tours available during the summer if you would like to take one during your stay. Please don't hesitate to contact us. Now, I don't know, are they saying this just to drum up tourism? The book has been around almost 50 years, and I've never heard the Algonquin story, so it seems like it's not widely publicized. The Stanley, as King says himself, was the major influence for the book. The Shining movie version filmed at the Stanley the Algonquin staff member is referring to was King's version shot in the 90s. Stephen King infamously hated Stanley Kubrick's film version of his book.
Did you like Kubrick's film of The Shining?
No. Cold. I'm not a cold guy. I mean, I think one of the things that people relate to in my books is there's a warmth, there's a reaching out and saying to the reader, I want you to be a part of this. And with Kubrick's The Shining, I felt that it was very cold. Shelley Duvall as Wendy is really one of the most misogynistic characters ever put on film. She's basically just there to scream and be stupid, and that's not the woman that I wrote about.
Did you talk to Kubrick about it?
I met him on the set. I was over in England, just out on that one meeting that I thought that he was a very compulsive, almost like anal man.
Ironically, because Kubrick owned the movie rights, King had to ask his permission to film a truer to his own book version of The Shining in 1997. King was given permission, and it's not clear if this came directly from Kubrick or from Warner Brothers. The only condition that King had was to ease up on his criticism of Kubrick's movie. King agreed. In Kubrick's The Shining, the Timberline Lodge in Mount Hood, Oregon, was used as the exterior of the Overlook. The interior sets were built in England at Elstree Studios. In this loved and overanalyzed movie, you don't see the iconic hedge maze in the opening establishing shots. This is because a facade of the Timberline was also built in England. We see here as Wendy and Danny are entering the hedge maze. If anyone out there has heard of the Algonquin connection to The Shining, please feel free to comment. Thank you very much.